I invite the convener of the Business Committee to present the report of the Business Committee.
Thank you, Rector. Chancellor, Assessor, Rector, Principal, members of the General Council and guests. Winter has had us in its icy grip for a short time this year, but I'm delighted to say that much is sunny and warm in our university. I'm delighted to welcome you to our half-yearly meeting today. The last time we met or had a half-yearly meeting was in the warmer climate of Toronto, where our university and General Council met alumni and supporters at a series of truly wonderful events. A very well-timed discussion on separatism, comparing and contrasting Quebec and Scotland, was extremely good. And it was interesting that to reflect now that Vice Principal Charlie Jeffrey's up-to-date analysis of voting intentions turned out to be quite right, although perhaps the margin was narrower than even he expected. Our university also honoured prominent Canadians, bibliophile and donor Garrett Harmon, Chief Justice Beverly McLaughlin, and author and environmental activist Margaret Atwood with honorary degrees. We had a splendid gala dinner with colleagues from the University of Toronto, and the visit finished with our half-yearly meeting. At this particular meeting, following reflections from the principal on the internationalization of the university, Vice Principal Steve Hillier gave his account of how these activities had grown over the years he had been in post, and of the reach of our university, and the practical consequences, the future of teaching and learning. Steve is retired now, and we wish him well in the next phase of what I'm sure will continue to be a busy and productive life. The results from the rectorial election by the students have just been announced, and Mr. Steve Morrison has been elected. We look forward to working with him once he has been installed. This means that our current rector, Peter, will be finishing his term of office shortly. I would like to thank him very warmly for all that he has done for the university and his support for the General Council in particular. This has been much appreciated, and we wish him well for the future. Now, although our referendum gave a no result, further legislation is going to be passed, as you know, in the UK Parliament to give further powers to the Scottish Parliament. Your Constitutional Standing Committee, ably chaired by Gordon Cairns, sitting over here, will be delivered a private paper to the University Secretary outlining your Business Committee views on the issues to be considered by the University in the event of either a yes or a no vote in the referendum. And those issues have not gone away. So your committee will be responding to further consultations by the Scottish Government, as they have done already on higher education governance. Although the overall principles of higher education governance were very admirable, we had quite significant reservations over the detailed proposals, and we have emphasised, as we have done before, the important role of the General Council, and in particular of your assessors to the General Council on the University Court. Your Academic Standing Committee, chaired now by Stuart McPherson, again has had a focus on excellence in teaching and the improving results of both local and national surveys of student feedback. The most recent National Student Survey was in January, and we will all be awaiting the results with interest. Your committee has met with the Edinburgh University Student Association President and Vice Presidents, as they do every year, and with the Deputy Secretary of the Student Experience, Gavin Douglas, and Kathleen Hood, Head of Widening Participation. One of the interesting discussions with them was that the admissions environment for all universities is going to become challenging over the next 10 to 20 years, I believe, as the number of 18-year-olds in the population begins to fall significantly. Your Public Affairs Committee is this year chaired by Matt McPherson, a previous USA president. The committee is concerned to support Kirsty MacDonald, Director of Development and Alumni, with new strategies for engaging and involving alumni in the university. As you know, alumni can contribute in many ways to our university through mentoring, for careers advice and support, volunteering, and of course the donations to the Edinburgh Fund and other funds run by the Development Trust. This year, the Development Trust have reported to us recently that they had an excellent year in the last year of their accounts, raising over £14 million, which has been dispersed throughout the university. In particular, over £2 million was put into student bursaries, helping this university, along with resources from internal to the university, to be the most generous in the UK to students and ensure that the best students can come here without worrying overmuch about their money. The rest is spent on a variety of teaching and research initiatives across schools and departments. The committee will be discussing the future of further away half-yearly meetings. It's now some 12 years since we have started that process with a visit to London, and 10 years outside the United Kingdom. I think that's right, yes. The University Secretary is quite properly reviewing how the university's international strategy will be delivered in future, and we're delighted to be able to contribute to that, and we will see the results of that in good time and consider how we can fit with the university and continue to visit enthusiastic alumni in different parts of the world. This is a good time, I think, to review the impact of our visit so far and consider how we go forward in the future. Your Finance and Services Committee is chaired by Kirsty McGregor. Sadly, one of the members, a member of the Business Committee, Dr. Bobby Burt, had to resign earlier this year for family reasons. And I'm very grateful for the effort that he put into the Business Committee despite his family responsibilities. We've therefore co-opted a further member until July 2016, Willie Jack. Your committee has reviewed the annual report and accounts with Phil McNaull, the Director of Finance, and it's so pleasing to be able to report that the university continues to make a modest surplus last year. Research income has continued to rise, which is extraordinary, as the cake across the United Kingdom and internationally has been shrinking. So it is clear that the excellence of our staff in conducting and publishing research to an international competitive standard is reflected in their ability to continue to win grant income, and also is reflected in the recent research assessment exercise, to which I'm sure the principal will refer, where Edinburgh excelled and again moved up the league table to near the top of the tree in the United Kingdom. I have no doubt also that this does not come about simply by academic excellence, but is also in no small part due to the high quality of overall leadership of our university as reflected in this table. As just reported, you will have noted that our elections to the Business Committee have not been the success of previous years, and I take responsibility for that. We had 2 good candidates, but for 5 places, and in future I will try harder to make sure that we have a larger number of candidates for the available places so that we do have an election. However, I'm delighted that with the candidates and the new members that we have got. However, it does leave some gaps in the committee, so your secretary and I will be taking a plan to the Business Committee in March for the co-option of people who can fill the gaps in your committee. You've heard the results of the elections for General Counsel Assessors, and we'll be delighted to be working with both Alan Brown and Richie Walker in the future. Very many congratulations. This concludes the report of your Business Committee.